Good morning, and welcome to episode 258 of Getting Rich. I'm your host, Rich Checkin, president of Asset Strategies International, and today is Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. All of us here at Asset Strategies International would like to wish all of you a very happy, healthy, and prosperous new year. The big news this past week was the capture of Nicolas Maduro from Venezuela. He was arraigned in New York City courts yesterday on charges of narcotics trafficking. His successor, Delcy Rodriguez, attempts to appease both the U.S. and hardline Venezuelans as she deals with the aftermath of Maduro's capture, all while President Trump claims that we will be taking 50 million barrels of sanctioned oil going forward. The U.S. stock market is benefiting from the news. It's surging since Maduro's capture. The S&P 500 and the Dow both hit new records yesterday, and the NASDAQ was up as well, about 0.6%. That news from Venezuela, along with a change for more stringent Chinese silver export restrictions, have also bolstered the precious metals. They're all moving higher this week on the news as well. Let's take a look at those numbers, and then I'll have a little bit more to say about those new Chinese restrictions and their impacts. So gold this past week is up 3.3% to $4,458.80 an ounce. It was $4,315.80 last week. Silver's up 10%, trading at $79.51 an ounce. It was $72.26 an ounce last week. Platinum's your big winner. It's up 15.4% on the week, trading at $2,341 an ounce. It was $2,029 an ounce last week. And palladium's up 10% at $1,775 an ounce. It was $1,613.20 last week. With silver clearly outperforming gold this past week, it's going to take less ounces of silver to buy that ounce of gold. Your gold-silver ratio this week stands at 56.08. It was 59.73 last week. And the dollar surged slightly, still in very weak, entrenched in very weak territory. It trades on the legacy index at 98.56 this week. It was 98.27 last week. So the impact of these Chinese export restrictions, it's going to cut down the amount of silver that is sent to the rest of the world. You got to keep in mind that silver's been in deficit production now for 5 straight years. The shortfall last year is nearly 250 million ounces of silver, 230 million to be exact. And demand is skyrocketing on top of that strained supply. So you're seeing the demand for EVs, electric vehicles. You're seeing the demand for solar cells. You're also seeing the demand as silver is used to build out these data centers for this big AI boom. Not to mention, now you're also seeing renewed or awakened in retail investor interest. And you got to keep in mind, China produces 60 to 70% of the world's silver. There's no two ways about it. We are going to see an impact. Right now, there are 356 contracts in the futures market for every physical ounce that exists. This cannot be sustained. It's only going to get worse. And as a result, I'm actually thinking that my earlier thoughts of $90 to $100 an ounce silver are going to be very low in the long run. We're going to see that number climb before this bull market's over, I am certain. Well, we're going to talk about that and a whole bunch of other things next week, Wednesday, 1 week from today. Adrian Day and I will have our first On the Move webinar of 2026. Our guest will be Peter Bookvar of 1 Point BFG Wealth Management, and we are going to look at that issue in silver. We're going to look at the precious metals. We're going to look at stocks and give you our forecast for where we think things are going here in 2026. You don't want to miss it. You can sign up for that in the information paragraph below this YouTube video. As always, we'd like you to go ahead and join us on YouTube, subscribe, like us, send us your comments and questions, follow us on social media, take our twice weekly, always something interesting alerts, and our once monthly information line newsletter, which comes out tomorrow. It's a fantastic issue with articles from Jim Woods, Peter Bookvar, and Nomi Prinz, as well as myself. But in the end, don't ever forget, getting rich starts with keeping what's yours.